Alright you guys, for today's video, it is something that has become very highly requested on my channel. You guys are always interested in seeing different foiling patterns, what I do on different clients depending on the result we're going for. So today I have a few different blonde clients, so I'm going to be showing you the difference between a partial highlight, a half highlight, and a full highlight. Those are the techniques I tend to do most at the salon, and I'm also going to show you different highlighting patterns for each one of them. So if you're interested in watching this, stay tuned.
Okay, you guys, so at my salon, we have something called the blonding menu. Blonding is not one size fits all, so we like to have options for our clients. I threw that menu up on the screen here so you can see my pricing and what it starts at. Basically, the way it works is we have 3 different options for highlights. We have a partial highlight, a half highlight, and a full highlight. The partial starts at 100, the half starts at 140, and the full starts at 180. The first one I'm going to be demonstrating for you right now is the half. The reason I am starting with this one is because it is the most requested, and I would say what 90% of my clients end up doing. It's a perfect happy medium between a partial and a full, and it's a really great way to brighten your clients up without having to do a full every time. So as you can see here, I'm starting on the bottom. A half highlight includes something that we call the halo. As you could see when I showed before the partings, before we got started, we have some sections underneath and then around the face. This is the hairline application, and it creates a halo around the entire head. So we do about 6 foils underneath, and then we do a hairline application up front. This gives us brightness all the way around the hairline, underneath and in front, so that when your client pulls their hair up, they're going to feel bright underneath and then as well as around their face, because we all know that when blondes get their highlights done, the most requested thing is, I want to see blonde when I pull my hair up. So this is just a little more than a partial because we do give them that brightness underneath and around the whole face, as well as on top of the entire head. We are starting underneath with the bottom halo. I'm going to be doing 3 foils here in the center, and then 2 on the left, 2 on the right on an angle, with a total of 7 foils underneath.
Chance concealing what deep down I felt for you. Oh, I regret for losing the one who loved me, for who I can't go back to. Walking through all the dust, memories and frame, a past we simply let fade. Oh, but I don't close the door, waiting a chance for when we'll be back again. You make me feel so crazy, still in love with you. You make me feel amazing when I'm next to you. You make me feel so crazy, my heart breaks for you. Can't help but know that I'm still in love with you. You make me feel so. When there's no hope loving for you who saw me before I knew who I'd be.
That bottom halo was all finished, and this is what it looks like completed, and then we are going to move around to the front and do the top halo. So this is basically just a hairline application, like I had said. Sometimes I do slices in the halo, sometimes I do baby lights. It kind of just depends on the look your client is going for. With her specifically, I am starting off by doing 2 slices and then working my way into baby lights.
What I have around me means nothing to me if I can't share it with you.
Okay, that halo section is all done. This is what it looks like. You can see that it kind of creates a halo around the entire hairline. Now that that is done, we are going to start in the back. All of the middle section is left out since this isn't a full, but we created a triangular section right here, and that is where I am starting in the back. I do an upside down triangle and I go on an angle until I reach the top, and then we are going to move to the front of the head. I always fold the sides of my foils very last all together like this. It tends to save time instead of doing them all individually, and it just helps you go a little quicker. Now that I am to the front, I am just going up on an angle, working from that halo to the top of the head, and with this, I always go off of their natural part. The half highlight is so popular because it gives you the appearance of a full since you're getting so many foils within that half. You get brightness underneath and up front, and you're toning all of the hair as well. So a lot of my clients end up doing this most of the time. We do have a partial and a full, which I will get to as well, and I have different foiling patterns for each of these techniques. So depending on your client and what works best for them, you can choose the technique that you do that day. Like I said, most of my clients end up doing the half. We do a full once a year, and then the partial is great just for brightening up in between sessions, and we will get to that one next. This is what a half looks like when it is all done. Since we are doing baby lights, they are tightly packed in there. So even though it's only a half head, there are so many foils in there that your client is going to feel bright and refreshed. At our salon, we start at $140 for this. The base price for the partial, half, and full does include Olaplex, your first lightener mix, your first toner mix, and your first low light mix if you do a low light. Anything after that is an additional $10 for toner or a low light, and then $20 for a lightener mix. So we always say that it starts at $140, could go up to $200 just depending on what needs to be used for your client's hair. Look how beautiful this color turned out. You don't have to do a full to get a beautiful blonde. A half is just enough sometimes for some of the clients. Like I said, a client like this would usually do a full once a year and then do halves and then partials every other time. So I love that you can get this appearance with a half highlight, and that halo just makes all of the difference. Next up is the partial. As you can see right here, we are just doing a mohawk section in the middle, and then I have face framing pieces on both left and right sides, kind of like mini halos in the front. This is a really easy application. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's just a mohawk and then some baby lights up in the front just to face frame it a little bit. This is a really good option for clients that want to freshen up in between sessions. It's really just meant to freshen up the crown and in front of the face. Or if your client can't afford a half or a full, or if their hair just can't handle it and they want to take a little bit of a break, this is a good way to brighten them up and make them feel like they got something done. So I am just doing a mohawk. Keep in mind with all of these applications, I am doing baby lights. I pretty much always do baby lights because you guys know I love the way they look. They grow out really nicely. The thinner sections process easier. You can do traditional highlights with this, but just keep in mind that with a mohawk section, traditional highlights, especially if you're adding in low lights, can look a little chunky. So I like to do baby lights tightly packed so that it looks really natural.
When there's no hope hiding, no chance concealing what deep down I felt for you. Oh, I regret for losing the one who loved me, for who I can't go back to. Oh,
Moving on to the face frame, I am just doing baby lights on an angle just to brighten up that hairline, so if she does wear her hair up, she still feels bright even though it's just a partial. You can also do slices here, but since she's more of like a natural blonde everywhere else, I wanted to do baby lights so that it's brighter, but it blends in really well with the rest of the hair. And that is it for the partial. It's a super easy service, pretty self-explanatory. My clients are usually in and out within 2 hours tops, and it makes them feel brighter without having to spend a ton of money or put their hair through a lot. So I like having this option just because every client is different and everyone has different needs. The base price for a partial is $100, and it can go up depending on if you need extra lightener mixes or whatnot. It does include everything else just like the half and the full do, but it does usually not require an extra mix because a partial is super easy, but some clients do, so I always give them a range. This is how it turned out, absolutely beautiful. Isn't it crazy that you can lighten up the hair and just refresh it that much with just a partial? Toning at the bowl also helps refresh all of the other hairs that were left out, and this is such a good option for some clients. Okay, now for the grand finale. This is a full highlight. As you can see here, I only have it sectioned off into 3 different sections. I always go off of the part in the front, just 2 sections up there, and then in the back we use a brick lay pattern. So we start at the base of the neck in the center and we do 3 foils straight up, then we do 3 foils on an angle on the left side, 3 foils on an angle on the right side, and then back to the center, repeating that pattern the whole entire way up the back of the head. The reason I like to do it this way most of the time is because you're following the shape of the head. That way you're not getting any weird stripes or you're not getting any bleeding, because if you go off of like a straight pattern or if you just do 2 sections, which I have done in the past, I've just noticed that you can get bleeding and tiger stripes a little bit easier, whereas with this technique it's a little bit easier to follow the shape of the head and you get a more natural looking result.
Make me feel so crazy, my heart breaks for you. Can't help but knowing that I'm still in love with you. You make me feel so.
When it comes to the front, I always work off of their natural part. If they are a tousler and wear their hair all over the place, then I always go off of the middle so that you can go either way and it's going to look good. She wears her hair a little bit more parted to the left, so that's what we did. And I'm just going up on an angle doing baby lights until I meet up in the center. I don't necessarily do a halo for this, but I do focus around the hairline, whether it's slicing or baby lights, just to give her a brighter appearance. I get a lot of questions in color classes on why we include pretty much everything in the base price except for extra mixes, and I wanted to go over that real quickly. This is a good way to implement a price change if you are thinking about it. If you're trying to raise your prices, change your techniques a little bit, doing a blonding menu can be really helpful. The reason we include most everything in that base price is so that your clients don't have the option to say no to Olaplex or a toner. How many times have you told the client, okay, it starts at this price and then Olaplex is 25 extra, a toner's 30 extra, whatever you may charge, and the client says no because they don't want to pay the extra cost. But in the end, you still need to use those toners and Olaplex on them, so you either don't use it and you don't have a successful appointment, or you do and you're out the money that you would have made if you would have just had it included in the price. So that's why we do that. Our base price includes the initial mix of lightener, the initial mix of a low light if using that, the Olaplex, the toner, and that is it. That way, if we need to do an extra toner, if we need to do an extra lightener mix, an extra low light mix, the client knows that it's because they have more hair. And if they have longer, thicker hair, they're used to paying a little bit more, so they won't be surprised. But when we quote our clients, we always give them a range. For example, with a full highlight, it starts at $180 for me. I always say that a full starts at $180 and can go up to $280 just depending on what needs to be used for your hair. $280 is usually only the case if they have super long, thick hair or it's a color correction or something like that. But it at least gives them a range so that if it's under the $280, they're going to be happy and they're not surprised if it does go above that $180. This is the full highlight, all completely foiled. She has so many foils in her hair, and I can't wait to see the result of this. I just wanted to tell you guys that for most blondes, I use 20 volume, and for the halo, I either use 7 or 10 just because those hairs are a little more fragile and they process a little quicker, and that way they're not going to get fried off by any means. So this color turned out absolutely stunning. Look how beautiful it is. She had a lot of gold in her hair previously because she had been doing on the scalp lightener, and that usually goes orange and just fans out and does funny things. So transitioning her into baby lights was awesome, and it looks so good. We actually ended up cutting bangs on this client, and I'm so mad that I didn't film that, but if you guys want a bang tutorial, let me know because it turned out so cute on her. Thanks so much for watching this video, you guys. I hope it helped out. I get questions about foiling patterns and techniques all the time, and I wanted to share with you guys. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day.